Personally, I've been working out since 2017. And was I consistent in the beginning? No, not at all. Was I good at what I was doing in the beginning? No. Did I know what I was doing? No. I had no idea. And by trial and error, that's how I actually figured it out. I figured out how to work out. I figured out what the best routine for me, what the best split for me was. But that's why I'm sitting here today to show you how to reach your dream physique within 1.5 to 3 years and to avoid all the stupid mistakes that I personally made, right? And the reason that I say you should reach it, within a not extended time frame, not overly long time frame, but a moderate time frame is because you want to build up the habit first and foremost of being consistent with going to the gym and working out, because when you do this shit, you want it to be a lifelong pursuit. You don't want it to be a thing that you do for one day and then that's it. You don't want to fucking inject SARMs and roids in your fucking arm and, within a year you've already given up because you've reached your dream physique. You want it to be something that where you see progress, but you're also just constantly working towards, becoming better. And that's what I believe the goal should be, right? But first, I want to discuss some non-negotiables when it comes to working out, right? You need to be in the gym 3 to 6 times a week. That's a non-negotiable, right? Making sure that you hit each and every muscle at least 2 to 3 times a week. If you're a beginner and you're younger, your body probably, rest and recover quicker. So you could probably do 3 times a week. If you're older, mid-20s, late 20s, 30s, twice a week will probably suffice for each muscle, right? It just depends how your body's feeling. It depends how sore you are. It just depends on whatever. But if you're a beginner, if you're good, if you recover quick, you can hit each muscle 3 times a week. You could do full body split. You could do, upper lower. You could do push pull legs 6 times a week. It just depends on how much time you have. And, you just got to figure out that for yourself personally, right? Next is sleep. Your sleep must be literally on point, because bad sleep equals less gains than you can see if you're maximizing your sleep to your full potential. And this is the case if you're losing weight. This is the case if you're gaining weight. Sleep is important. Now, do I get the best sleep every single night? No. I try and at least get 6 to 6.5 hours. Ideally, for me, the best sleep I get is 7 to 7.5 hours, because I feel the best off of that. But it's just experimenting with your body and how you are, right? And it depends on the type of person you are. And a big factor of sleep is that not many people discuss is your diet, right? If you eat a shit diet, if you eat shit food, you're going to need more sleep. And that means that you have less time in the day to do other things. But if you're eating a good diet, you're maximizing your diet, you're going to need less sleep and you're going to need not as much recovery, right? So speaking of diet, which is part of what we're talking about today, maximizing your diet is going to help your sleep a lot, and they come hand in hand, right? So eating the best diet you can possibly eat, low inflammation foods, things that aren't going to affect your body in a negative way. These foods are going to aid your sleep and your recovery. Eating things with antioxidants to help your body out, if to counteract bad foods, doing shit like that is going to help a lot, right? So if your diet is shit, it means bad gains. And you have to keep that in mind, right? Eating not enough is going to be minimum gains. Eating too much equals, being pudgy and looking a bit gay. These are all things that you've got to take in mind, take in consideration when you're on this pursuit, right? Eating too many high cholesterol foods or foods that spike your insulin means more sleep, means more recovery time, which means not maximizing your day to get shit done. All of this shit comes hand in hand, and that's what you have to understand. That's what you have to realize, right? And it also means relying on caffeine, relying on external enhancers outside of yourself to boost your energy, which is something that you don't want to be relying on. You want to be relying solely on yourself, being able to just get out of bed and get shit done in the morning, right? So you don't want to be consuming bullshit. Personally, I don't consume caffeine because I don't feel like I need it. The day I feel like I need it, I'll start consuming it. But right now, I'm 25, I've got good energy levels, and I can just wake up, get the shit done that I need. I get home from, working or whatever I'm doing during my day. I can go to the gym at night, I can get other shit done. It just depends how I'm prioritizing my time and what I'm doing, right? But let's put this into perspective as well. Average geezer wakes up, eats bread, eats, cereal, sugary ass cereal, and of course, the way white bread breaks down in your body, breaks down like sugar. All of these foods are going to be a terrible start to your day. It's not going to help you whatsoever. You're going to wake up, you're going to put all this bullshit in your body, and your body has to process the sugar. And obviously, sugary shit is going to spike you straight away, and you're going to drop from that high. And therefore, because you've dropped from that high, you're going to need to rely on other things, like I said before, like caffeinated drinks, coffee, and energy drinks, bullshit like that. And you're going to, barely make it through the day, even though you're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, which genuinely should be enough, right? People are fat as fuck needing 10 hours of sleep, and it's because look what they're putting into their body. They're putting bullshit into their body, so they need more sleep. Their body needs to recover more, and they still feel sluggish throughout the day because what are you putting in your body? Your body spikes because you're eating sugary bullshit, and then it crashes. And that's a constant cycle that keeps happening throughout their whole day, right? And at the end of the day, the one thing that I do want to emphasize is that there is no ideal diet when we're talking about eating proper foods. And that's why everyone's body's different, and you need to experiment with the foods you're eating in order to maximize your energy, to maximize your output, to maximize, your workouts and your recovery. And that's why you need to experiment with the food that you're eating. And I know a lot of guys will come in and say, oh, you need to be eating this, you need to be eating that. But that's not the case, bro. And a lot of the time, what you have to understand is that the foods that your body has adapted to is going to be from your ancestors, what they were eating, what diet they were eating. Your body is a culmination of generations of development through your ancestors and the people that lived before you. So you can't necessarily listen to the people that tell you to eat specific diets, because you have to experiment with the foods that are going to be good for you, right? For example, like me, I have these big, not huge, but these canine teeth. And these teeth are specifically designed for breaking down meats, for breaking down tougher foods, right? So you have to understand, you have to research your background, your lineage. What type of foods were your ancestors eating? Maybe people of darker skin complexions were eating more, vegan or vegetarian diets. I don't know. That's just what I've heard. But you have to understand, you have to research, and you have to experiment with what food your body's going to be good with, what food your body's going to react well with, what it isn't going to react well with. Wow, I'm drinking or eating this food, then I'm feeling that I'm slow, I'm lethargic, I'm weak. Maybe I take that out of my diet because it's not actually helping me, right? So you have to understand and experiment and make these small tweaks to, what you want. I can't give you the best diet in fucking detailed description. I can tell you what I've eaten, and I will tell you what I've eaten over the years, what I've experimented with, what I've found to be the best diet for me personally, which is I wake up, I normally don't eat for the first few hours, for the first 3 to 4 hours, I won't eat, because personally, I like how I feel when I'm doing that. Then after that, my first meal is very high in protein. Now, I've been experimenting. Before, I would have one huge meal throughout the day. And I like, keeping my food within a relatively low eating window. Usually max 8 hours, sometimes maybe 10 hours, depending on what I'm doing that day. Usually I try to keep it at 8 hours, but I try to eat between an 8 to 6 hour eating window. So that way, that just is what feels best for my body. But you experiment with you see what works with you, right? So personally, what I used to do is I'd have a high protein first meal of the day. I still have a high protein first meal of the day, but my meal is different. So I used to have a big meal which consisted of toast, which obviously is carbs, but I just find like a little bit of carbs in the morning, not in the morning, but 3 to 4 hours after I wake up helps me personally, right? And I'm not eating, shitty bread. I'll try and get, whole grain bread or something that's good, something that I know is going to burn slower in my body, not something that's going to break down like sugar in your body, like white bread does. And then, you don't have any energy because you crash after that. I eat feta with eggs. Feta is cheese. If you don't know, it's a type of cheese. Feta with eggs, I mix that shit up. That's high protein. And I used to make a protein shake as well and eat that all in one meal. But now I've been spacing it out. I eat the feta with the eggs first and the toast. And then I'll have a protein shake, a high protein shake. And then I'll have like a small protein bar. And then usually for dinner, it's like something meat related, either chicken or some sort of beef. I don't eat pork personally. I don't like pork because of the health reasonings. I just don't think pork is a good meat. I don't think it's clean. And yeah, so that's basically my diet. Does this work for me? Yes, it does work for me. Could it be better? 100% it could be better. Could be eating probably better carbs in the earlier on in the day. It's just a toast for me. A, it's easier for me to make, and B, I don't mind it. It doesn't have the worst effect on my body, right? But and then I'll have small bits of other protein throughout scattered, because I found that apparently, and I don't even know if this is true, but having protein more spaced out is going to be more beneficial for your gains. I don't know if that's true or not. You can do the research yourself. That's what I've found people are talking about online. So that's what I'm experimenting with right now. And like I said, you got to be a scientist. You got to experiment with your body. You got to see what feels right for you. And you just got to keep trying different things. So then that way you can see and feel what your body actually likes and what your body feels good eating. You know what I mean? Like when do you feel good? Do you feel good after eating high protein in the morning? Maybe you don't. Maybe you want high carbs in the morning. I don't know why you'd want to do that. I don't know, right? You just have to experiment with your body and see what the ideal diet is for you and just tweak everything, bro. Because if you're not tweaking everything, you're not going to be maximizing your potential. And you just got to see what works for you, what feels good for you. You might need more sleep, less sleep, whatever it is. Just be a scientist. Literally just keep experimenting, and that's it.